Sorry about that. Okay. I don't like to hit the schedule button when it's last minute. I just like to hit go. And then when I can hit live, because Facebook gives me a time limit to go live. And I'm a Gemini. And I don't like being told what to do. And I don't like obligation. I don't know if I even, well, I do like authority. I respect it. You don't know, Laura? Oh, you about to find out. I think we're all about to find out. Morning, Alicia. Morning, Siren. You already told Robbie's poll that you're pooping. Guys, fun fact, I actually had a good poop this morning. Isn't that fun? That's good for my back. I've been taking testosterone booster pills. So I asked Street Maxer, how do I go get the good shit? You know what I'm saying? Morning, Laura D. Morning, Jess. Thank you for becoming a member. Sarah, good morning. Good morning. Oh no, Thea got what you got what the kiddo got. So sick. Okay, no, get rest. Oh my god, Amy. Amy, I'm waiting for my yeast baby. You need to just come out here and bring it yourself, because I'm not going to see Miss Portland anymore. So I'll have like a week to do whatever in May. Good morning, Summy. You like my Spider brand vest? Thank you. Actually, this was in my closet. I don't know where this fucking came from. Maybe it's my husband's. I don't know, but it's comfortable as fuck. You know what else is comfortable as fuck? Laura merch, Perplexed. And also, her candles are fucking awesome. Thought I had one in here. Laura, I need to buy an anniversary candle from you. I want a coffee scented one or something springy. But I want it to have like a picture for our anniversary, which we didn't take one on our wedding. Hey, just Steph. Hey, Peach. I know. Amy's been smart. She lays low. Better lay low. Yeah, her candles are good. I'm not playing, like, because I bought them. I actually remember, Laura, when I was pissed at you, there's clips going around. I'm like, and her candles suck, before I even got one. When I got her candles, she packages them really good, so they're not going to fucking break. She wraps that shit like 12 times, and it's in real cute packaging. Or if you do gift ones, you know, she puts it in gift cute little packages. And there's, what's the glitter stuff, Laura? It's not cocaine. It's not heroin. It's like chunky glitter. You can't snort it like you can do the other two I just said. Just kidding. Don't do drugs. You like strong scents? Laura has about 5 million different scents. Hey, Tiff. She does. She has a lot. Hey, Kathy in LA. You don't use mica anymore. Oh, okay. Yeah, the mica, like, mica is what it's called, the glitter stuff. And it would kind of like, if you tip the candle upside down, that's probably the only downfall of it, but it looked pretty. But yeah, I could see not doing mica is still good, but the quality is good. They burn like a motherfucker. We don't really burn our wedding one that we got, the proposal one. Hello, Sally Ann. Pray for Sally Ann. Pray that the demon is gone, in case you haven't seen the new parody that I dropped yesterday. Sally Ann is possessed on a dating show. I love when she's like, do we want to do this? I could run rings around you. How do I find out what scent she has? Laura, do you have your website, right? Still? It did look pretty. It got clogged. It just clogged the wicks. The mica did. Yeah. Laura can drop her link, I'm sure. There it is. So if you go to energycandles.com, and she has there's really cool ones that are like beer candles, which we got one for a while. And then after a while we had to, like, I think it's in a box or in the trash, Laura, and it's the coolest candle fucking ever. It's in a mug, and it has like the wax going down the side like foam, you know, of a beer. But like every time I walked into the room, it actually smells like beer. And I'm like, why the fuck does it smell like booze in here? But it was the coolest candle. I think it's in a box somewhere. But that shit, if you want your place to smell like beer, maybe on St. Patrick's Day or something like that, get the beer candle. She has ice cream candles. She has it all. She even has her titties on a candle. You could see Laura's tits. Just kidding. All right, guys. Gather around, and we're going to discuss something that just happened recently as far as restraining orders and stuff. And if you know anything about my story, you know that I have real good experience. Now, I do live in Colorado. Okay. Hey, DeLorean. Hey. I do live in Colorado, so make sure you look up the laws where you are. But it's pretty blanket statement shit, and some words from my attorney. So gather around. Huh? No, no chance. No, no dance. No, no chance. No, no dance. No, no chance. Give me second chances. That's so cool! Hey! Ow! Ow! My There's two people on here that call me Robert. That would be DeLorean and Natasha Cooper. But Natasha says it like my mom, because my parents call me Robert. Robert, or Robert Wayne, because that's my middle name, like Wayne's World, party time, excellent. And it's spelled the same too. Isn't that a cool dox of myself? I dox myself. I dox myself in the shower too. And in the mirror for 72 hours. Hey Riz, hey Roho. Riz and Roho, that would be a cool song. Speaking of that, Doja Cat's new album is really good. I love it. She's hot. Anyways, oh, that's what I was saying a little bit earlier. I was talking about taking supplements for a testosterone booster, and I went on Street Maxer's live stream last night. He's funny, but he where does he get the good shit? Because I'm on testosterone booster pills, like over the counter. I want the goods. I want to look like David Beckham. You have more Thelma in your fridge. Amy's yeasts, her yeast is named Thelma. Hey, Nicole. And she's going to mail me some of her yeast that she keeps alive. See, I want to look like this again, but like way better. Because that was like 2.5 years ago. Okay. I want that times like testosterone. And don't do drugs. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking legal. Okay. Hey, Gladys. All right. So did anybody see what happened with... Did anybody see what happened with Granny? Granny's watching. The only reason I know about it... actually, first, let me start with this. Restraining orders are used, in case you don't know, to protect yourself when you feel threatened, when you're in imminent harm. Now, remember, these are my opinions, by the way, so shut up. When you're in harm, when you're in danger, you know, to protect yourself from unwanted and unwarranted attention, okay? Now, unfortunately, when we come on the internet and we talk about anything, really, that's public. People are free to commentate. People are free to have an opinion, stuff like that. Especially if you go back and forth with them. Not just on your channel, but in people's chats. Okay? So the only way I found out that Granny said she got a restraining order, which I'm sure she did, and I'll get into that, is because she announced it on 2 different panels now. Probably more by now. Probably more? Fuck. There are real people who are in danger that need the court's help. Yeah. Probably a small percentage too. Because a lot of people use them as a weapon, and they do not use them as a shield. Has it? Oh, first of all, let me start off with this part. Did anybody see like Granny being like threatened on here physically in a serious way? Because you also have to put into play that in courts and stuff like that, they think YouTube is fucking entertainment anyways. When you tell them that you have like, I hate this word, communities on YouTube, they're like, what? What the fuck happened to Britney Spears just dancing in videos and people leaving comments? No, we actually talk shit to each other. Oh yeah, we talk shit. We drag each other. We do each other. Lots of us fly out to crawl on top of each other and penetrate. There's so many varieties of things that we do with each other. And the police are like, wow, sign me up. She has a long history of threatening people with ROs. Well, the thing that sucks, and yes, Laura, state to state, it's different. Hey, Trisha. No restraining orders. There's no restraining orders for another state. Laura, are you saying that, like, in your state, you can't get a restraining order on somebody in another state? Yeah, I don't think you could do that here either. I'm not sure. But anyways, what I'll start off, like, as far as, because people say they make a joke out of when you send a cease and desist to people. And they're like, oh, it's just a piece of paper, just rip it up. That's true. It's not like anything you need to follow. Hey, Wendy, over on Facebook. It's not anything you need to follow. It's not, you're like, who gives a shit? I'm not ordered by a court to do anything. No. But I will tell you what, cease and desist are amazing because further down the line, when you go to file whatever it is, a police report, or when you go to file a restraining order or whatever, exactly, Michelle, you're telling that person, basically, it's documented. That way you could prove down the line and say, look, dude, I've asked this person to stop and I've done it on a legal form. That way it's written and it's documented and they're still going. So cease and desist are for your records and they come in handy with shit like that. Oh, I'm not being restrained. I'm not being restrained. I'm wide open. My legs are open. Chest is open. I want it all. When you were living in Texas, you had a restraining order against your ex-husband in Arkansas. When me and my ex, Michael, the one that people are like, he has harassment on his record, he doesn't want more. First of all, bitch, that was when I was like 25, 27, something like that. That motherfucker took my car, okay? Because I didn't want to be with him anymore, and I fucking was having sex with the guy that looked like Dane Cook, and he just so happened to have a key to my apartment and walked in on us doing each other. Do you understand? So when he took my car, I kept calling his phone, and he called the police, and the police were like, you need to stop calling his phone. And I did not stop. I was like, that bitch has my car. Nobody's fucking telling me what to do. Anyways, they put a restraining order mandatory on me, like by default. That motherfucker still showed up to my house in the middle of the night crying, please let me in, I love you. Bitch, there's a restraining order, go drop it. Oh, I don't want to, I can't. Then get the fuck out. Or my mom kicks me out of the house. Well, maybe you shouldn't have lived with your mama, motherfucker. And then I'd let him inside and we'd do each other illegally. We had illegally, we had restrained sex under restraint when I was restrained by the court of law. You have it on another channel so far from imminent danger. We're talking about your live stream. You're not flying out to climb up on anybody. I hate everybody. So there is that. Oh, okay. Love you, Lonnie. Good night. Illegal sex, I'm told, is always the best. Yeah, and I'm not talking about like, prostitutes or anything illegal. I'm just talking about like I wasn't supposed to be around him. And you know what sucks? Is he could have showed up at my house and called the police on me and still got me in trouble. So I find it funny when people like the idiot that got the restraining order on me a long time ago and dropped it for lack of evidence. And now she puts out all the time, receipts, receipts. Bitch, those aren't court receipts, so they mean shit. Okay? The fact that they made fun of someone sending someone to your door is not a good look. That is a very good point, DeLorean. You literally, okay, go and get a restraining order over God knows what, because we don't know what was said, that's why I said it's a really good idea to FOIA the hearing, the initial hearing that she had to get this restraining order. That way you could hear what she said with her own words, not only see it on the documents, but what she said. Oh yeah, we do have each other's location, huh, Amy? Am I still sharing it? I'm right here. I could show where Amy's at right now. She's in my pants. Well, right, Rojo. It doesn't even just like take away from like it's ignorance, okay? Because in true crime, you should know that if you're in danger, then like you don't fucking go back and forth. So something I wanted to point out the other day, like I had so much to say and I was like blowing up Lycan's messenger and sending him messages and stuff, probably annoying the shit out of him. But Lycan, I don't know, maybe it was like a month or two ago. I was in Morbid's chat and he was talking about something that Lycan would probably be interested in. It was the glare or something like that. I don't know. I still have to find it. And so Lycan was welcomed up on the panel by Morbid. They're having a conversation that had nothing to do with Granny, good, respectful conversation. And in comes in the chat, Granny. And she's making a huge fuss, kind of like AJ does to me. A huge fuss in the chat that he's there. He shouldn't be here, and he did this, and he did that. That's not your fucking channel. Nobody gives a shit. Go say that on your own channel. But here's what she does. She'll say, I don't talk about him. I don't advertise him on my channel. Well, first of all, you don't advertise other people because they are a lot more entertaining and interesting than you. And I think maybe not only will they be more entertained where you advertise them, but they'll also probably see another side of something rather than just listening to random lies, because Granny's lied about me a lot. And I'm like, where the fuck did she get this information? But I truly think that she's scared, that people are going to be more entertained by the other channel. That's just my opinion. It's more stupid knowing YouTube creators are getting ROs on each other, knowing they won't even see each other. Exactly. It's a silence technique. And just like she went in to Morbids and was trying to get Lycan out of there and blocked. And actually, she kept blocking Lycan in the chat. And, well, I'm not going to say who, but there was a couple of moderators, because I was a mod at the time, so I could see who was unhiding people and hiding. Granny kept hiding. And then somebody would go in and unhide him. And I was just sitting there watching it like, wow. Like, you don't get to control where he goes. If it's your channel, that's one thing. And then Granny will say this. This is something interesting, she said. She said, don't you find it funny that Lycan doesn't come over to this channel unless I'm here? Anybody know what the fuck? Listen to what I just said. Lycan doesn't come over to these channels unless I'm here. How the fuck do you know that? You would have to be following him to know that. You would have to be monitoring and online stalking him to know where he's at all the time. Hey, Sandy, over on Facebook. There you go, Jen. You stay away from people you don't like. So why are you following him, like paying attention to shit like that? The last fucking time that I checked, if there is a public live stream and we're all in true crime, drama, all of that shit, we're all fucking are free to go where the fuck we want to. There's not a sign on Morbid's chat that said like and stay out. There's not a sign on anyone's chat that says that. You're doing that and you're saying that. And so, in my opinion, that's a way to silence him on other people's channels. And then, in my opinion, you're taking it further. Like, oh shit, I can't do it on YouTube. I'm just going to do it legally. Why isn't he blocked on her end if she doesn't like him? Well, yeah. I mean, the shitty thing about like Google and YouTube is sometimes I block people and I'm like, why the fuck can I still see their comments? I wish I just couldn't see anything they put out when I block them, but it's not the way it is. Rojo says, if Granny is being stalked, it's you, your daughters get notifications if you walk the dog. Yeah, we have the Wise cameras around our house, so and then we have the notification on our phone every time the garage door opens. It'll tell us how long it was open on the phone and then how long it's been closed. Can someone explain to me how MC doxing and threatening her or Kim, Mandy C, saying she was going to go to her house and beat her face in didn't make her fear for her life, but Jamie's meme is a real threat? Bam. Do you remember when Granny like supposedly went to the hotel that one night? Her address was doxed by, somebody who got in trouble for threatening like schools and stuff. Mandy C, I'm not saying that to be mean. Please don't come for me. I don't need a threat. I don't want to get blown up or anything like that. But literally like somebody who could possibly put that shit into action. And I mean, just based off their history. No restraining order, no nothing, just a fundraiser for a hotel. Oh. Anne says Granny's just ashamed of her past and wants to remake herself, and she can only do that by silencing people. Okay, so how am I going to say this? Let me take a hit of my vape. So there's another person that is blabbing about this nonstop, and they're actually on what I see as the right side, and that would be, Lycan. Lycan has not threatened people. His memes, all that shit. I mean, shit, if anybody was going to get restraining orders on stuff like memes and stuff, we'd all be fucking restrained. Or stupid comments or whatever it is. But I noticed, and yeah, she's going to say AJ. She's been very supportive of Lycan in this, saying that it's very stupid to, go and over YouTube and get a restraining order. You did that to me. Okay? So let me school you guys on something real quick, okay? If you've been around for a couple of years, sorry, my sinuses are like swollen and my nose keeps running. If you've been around for a year or so, give me a second, then you know that like AJ has annoyed me really bad. She's done some pretty crazy shit that I just kept threatening on YouTube, which I wish I would have never done. I'm going to get a restraining order on you if you don't stop. Now, AJ lives in the same state as me and she's pretty crazy. So there was many different reasons for it. I said it over and over and over and over and over, right? So hold on. Trying to find it. Well, I'll find it pretty soon. She went into the courthouse. She filled out a restraining order, and she still to this day will say on YouTube, because, she can't lie in court, that I threatened her physically and to come to her home and harm her. And I have the clip. It's up on my channel. Over and over, I've played it. I said she's going to get a knock on her door and it's going to be legal because I was going to get a restraining order on her. She took my words, she twisted them, threw her kid in there, threw a bunch of spice and flavor on it. Hey, Marie B. And she went in and she filled out the paperwork. And it was during like the pandemic, so it was approved for like 2 weeks until the court date. The shitty thing about that is you have a crazy person lying about you for 2 weeks and you feel helpless. You can't do anything about it because it's a temporary restraining order. Now, when she found out I got an attorney and it's not going to be very easy and you can't manipulate clips and you can't just play a clip of me saying something here and there and be like, look, he said it there. No, it has to be the digital forensics has to be done so that the judge can see, okay, is this valid or not? And guess what AJ was doing the whole entire time she had that restraining order for 2 weeks? Posting video after video after video about me, tagging me. Is that somebody that's scared? Saying that I was going after her kid and stuff. Is it somebody that's scared that literally went to Vegas during my wedding and brought her kid? No. No. It's fucking weird. So when I see AJ speaking up, only because she hates Granny, and I'm not trying to be mean, Granny, but I'm getting to my point here, slowly but surely. When you do stuff like this, you have to remember it doesn't matter how good of an actress you think you are. It doesn't matter how many things or because Granny sounds very relaxed, like, well, we'll see what happens, but for now, basically you have control over somebody and you know that. If this is true, I don't even know if he's been served. He doesn't even have to say. I would imagine he wouldn't even be in here if he was. So when you do stuff like that, I think your pride gets in the way and you forget there's things that from the past that are going to have to be brought into court, like revenge porning somebody, like supporting people that, go to Lycan's house, making jokes about it, going back and forth with him. That's the key part. The judge is going to ask you, did you block him? Have you said anything back to him? Has there been any contact? If you're telling the truth, you're going to have to say, yes. Yes, I have gone into chats that are talking about his penis. Yes, I have spread his naked pictures around to people. Yes, I have. Oh, and there's my clone account, guys, if you go report it. There it is. Yes, I have. Oh, it's probably AJ, by the way. See? Notice how she put AJ in there? AJ, go take a break, sweetheart. Hold on. Just take a little time out, okay? Morning back at you. She's going to have to be honest about all of that stuff. She's going to have to be honest about talking about his sexuality. It is a handsome clone. That's because AJ can't use her own face. She has to use mine. She has to use all of that shit. And as far as interjecting myself, dude, I fucking have been through the same exact thing. Same fucking thing. Now, I don't know what she has planned to put on these documents or say in court, Granny. But if she's going to speak anything like she does about true crime and stuff, then it's going to be easy win for Lycan. Because the judge is going to be like, who's this ignorant? And here's another thing they're going to ask you. Wait, how did Save Robbie timeout save Robbie? Here's another thing they're going to ask you. Oh, you have a channel on YouTube, Granny. I'm just preparing you. I'm trying to get you prepared. What do you do on YouTube? You're going to have to tell the truth on that. You could say true crime, which you do some, but you're in drama and crama. If you're being honest, you can also say that you tag deceased people's names that are popular in your drama streams. Your name is in my title, Granny, because I'm talking about you. And when you respond to me and talk about me, you always say stuff like, don't advertise their channel. That's because people will come over to either mine or Lycan's or somebody, and they'll see another side of the story. And they might just stick around. And that's what you're scared of. Do we know for sure that she filed? No, Anne, but let me tell you something about these orders. When you initially go in, this is how it is here. Yeah, how did you start your channel? Oh, by attacking and mocking Natasha Cooper. Exactly. But when you go in, basically you're just getting a temporary order. And so after AJ got one on me, I tried to go in and get one in return on her. But even with her, okay, AJ was making videos of Siren beating me to death, saying, die, die, die. During this time, by the way. That's more of a threat than anything else. But all you do is you go in and literally, I'm not encouraging this. I'm saying how easy it is. You fucking lie. But you have to remember there's going to be a consequence for that lie later in 2 weeks. So you may feel happy and, oh, I have them for 2 weeks. But that lie is going to come to bite you in the ass in 2 weeks. That's why AJ dropped it. She acts so concerned still nowadays and shows receipts on the internet. Well, there was 0 receipts in court. That's why it says lack of evidence dropped, because there was none. You don't have to show any proof to get a temporary. Bingo, DeLorean. You don't. Because when I went in to get one back on AJ, I was like, look, I was trying to walk up and show the judge. She's like, no, you show that at the hearing. And I'm like, so you're denying my order and you're not seeing any of this crazy shit she's doing to me? And I was actually really frustrated. And that day, my attorney, he was in a different hearing, but we had a meeting before I went in to try to get a restraining order on hers. And, you know, he coached me and told me things and stuff like that, that I'm not going to say. And none of that shit worked because I was telling the truth. I'm going to say that again. My restraining order was denied because I was telling the truth. Even though AJ has done shit like contact Thrive, troll me, use my clone account. And let me correct you again. Okay, Captain Kangaroo, listen very closely. I know you're not a very good listener. AJ says that he called the police on me. He called the police for no reason. When you use my name, my email, my face, and then you sign something, love your friendly YouTuber, save Robbie, on something that you're doing to attack your own child and use my identity, yeah, I'm going to go to the police. And that's why I went to the police. It wasn't over nothing. And that was before the restraining order happened. That's why I was threatening it. I was like, if this continues, I'm getting a restraining order on you. And AJ was like, I'm going to go get one on him first. So she lied. So what DeLorean said is true. If you go in and you lie, you're going to get that temporary thing. But listen, even now, I can still go legal and prosecute AJ. And it's been like I think a little over 2 years. I chose not to because she has a son. This whole thing was her saying I harass her, her son, her family. It's like, dude, I had mercy on you legally because of your family. Anything she lists on the petition, she will have to back up and answer questions about and have it picked apart if even it gets argued in court. Exactly. So, and even if she drops it before the court date and says, okay, I don't want to do this. Never mind. This sounds scary. I don't want to get in trouble or whatever reason. Lycan can still take her to court. Because see, what you're doing is you're trying to put fear into somebody on a different level. You're trying to cause anxiety, stress, and all that kind of stuff just on a different level. And that's not okay. Am I friends with Lycan? Yeah, we've had our problems, but we're like brothers that bicker. So give me just a moment, okay? This could lay the groundwork for him to have one hell of a case against her. Exactly, and he already does. Granny, you spread his revenge naked pictures around. I would have not held back. I would have definitely gone legal way long time ago. Way long time ago. But the problem is, even let's say, someone's like, oh, they doxed me. And they're like, oh, well, they doxed me. The judge is going to look at both of you and say, you're both fucking doing it to each other. You're both fucking a part of this. Get the fuck out of my courtroom. Or the judge is going to fucking get you both in trouble. When there's back and forth bullshit, the judge is going to say, no case. Dropped, done. Stop going back and forth at each other. Fucking grow up. You're a mom? You're a mother? Grow the fuck up. What the fuck are you doing? You must live under a rock. Speculation station. Where's Noodles been? She must be in a deep sleep. Oh, I don't know. But hold on. Here, let me play something while I'm pulling this video up. We'll play this. Get off the counter! Get off the counter! Get off! Get down! Get off! Get off the counter! Get down! Elliot! Get off the counter! Good boy. Okay. My God. My fucking sinus headache is terrible. All right, let me share the screen here. I'm going to speed it up. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but let me just show you kind of how it works, okay? And the process. My attorney that I had on, it worked on my case with the crazy person on here, explains it. And he actually suggested this. I was going to ask him, but I was like, he would never come on my channel. He was like, I think it's a good idea now that court's over that I come on and talk about this. And I was like, are you serious? Because AJ still to this day says I didn't have an attorney. She lies, non-fucking stop. And that's why I don't even try to debunk her anymore specifically. I'm like, dude, I can show proof even in court. So who gives a fuck what you say on the internet? Hey, that KK. So let me share the screen. We're going to hear a little bit of truth on how the shit works. I hope Granny is listening to this. I think this is important for everyone. Let me hit the speed up. If it's too fast, let me know. We'll go to 1.25. Speed it up. Speed it up.
Say I am an attorney. I'm licensed to practice law here in the state of Colorado, colorful Colorado. I am also licensed to practice law in federal court.
Hold on a minute. Dude, I just thought I muted and I was like, all disgusting in the microphone. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get this shit out of my, just fuck off. Hold on. Fuck off.
As well. So I have been an attorney for, let's see, almost about 7.5 years. I previously was a prosecuting attorney for the Weld County DA's office. After that, I was a prosecuting attorney for the Jefferson County DA's office.
We'll get through that. If you want to see his background, you could fucking go to the website of the place he works, or you could just watch the fucking video yourself.
To file a protection order, civil protection order.
Okay.
What happens is,
let's rewind a bit.
Why people get them and those sorts of things. So to start, anybody can get what's known as a civil protection order. It's also commonly referred to as a restraining order. And the way that a person does that, you can pretty much do it any day of the week, depending on the county that you live in. But all you got to do is you have to go down to the county court, and then just go to the information center, tell them that you would like to file a protection order, civil protection order. What happens is, depending on the time of day that you get there, they will docket you that day for what's called an ex parte hearing in front of a judge. And it can be a county court judge, or it could also be a magistrate. what happens is you get this hearing set up. You appear before the judge, and it's called ex parte because it basically, that means just there's only one part of the controversy present. There's only one party.
I'm going to pause real quick. So what he's saying, hey, Brittany, what he's saying is anybody can get one, and he's explaining how the process works, just so you know. And I'm not pausing so you could listen to him explaining it in full from somebody who's very well educated in this. And if you're wondering, yes, I did fucking dye my eyebrows that day, so stop staring at them, okay? I had an attractive attorney. I'm married now. Anyways.
Fuck. That's present before the court. So the person against whom you're seeking the protective order is not present. So that's why it's called ex parte. So it's just the person, the petitioner. So you call that person the petitioner, the person who is getting the protection order. Mm-hmm. It's that person, the petitioner, and the judicial officer, the magistrate, or the judge.
Right.
So what happens is the judge calls the person up to the podium, and then the judge says, tell me why it is that you want a protection order. Before they do that, the judge will swear the person in. So you have to swear an oath, essentially just like any witness in any case, a criminal case, civil case. Anybody who's providing testimony to a court has to swear that oath. So that it's no different in this ex parte protective order proceeding. The judge will swear the petitioner in, and the petitioner essentially gives testimony to the court. So the judge says, tell me why it is that you believe that you need this protective order. And then what the judge is essentially listening for, what the magistrate is listening for, is whether or not this person is establishing that the person against whom they're seeking the protection order, that person would be the respondent, whether or not the respondent presents an immediate threat to this person's health and safety. Mm-hmm. Those aren't the exact, that's
the like basically, listen, when you go in, basically the judge is looking to see if you're physically scared, and even by looking at you, if you actually look scared. And I'm not kidding. They're reading your body. They're paying very close attention. So if you play it up and you go in, and this is just for entertainment purposes only, but if I went into a courtroom, Pesky, I'm going to use you. Pesky does not do this to me, by the way. This is just an example. This is a fake storyline, okay? If I go in and let's say Pesky and I are just going back and forth in comments or people's chats or whatever, which we've done in the past, just fucking taking digs at each other, right? Then, and hold on a minute, Extinct Tube, get the fuck out of here. What the fuck? Dude, what is with these fake fucking people coming into my comments and shit? You were just talking shit about my restraining order fucking yesterday, bitch. Get your fake ass the fuck out of here. My God, you fake ass people. Don't fucking come in here. Do not come in here under your alts and go fucking find something that makes you happy rather than fucking being a fake person to people on the internet like a bitch. Fuck off. And listen, hold on a minute. The only reason you're pissed off at me is because I've been nice to either Miss Portland or Noodle. Grow the fuck up. Grow up. And yeah, I'm not being mean to you because you're nice to AJ, by the way. I'm fucking being mean to you because you're two-faced. And I'm not even being mean. I'm putting my foot down on you. Now shut up. Okay, back to Pesky being a bitch. Just kidding, Pesky. So listen. So let's say we just have this back and forth like what I just did to Extinct Tube. Fucking call him a bitch or whatever. Let's say I take that shit into court and I say, this pesky woman has put me in fear. She has scared me. She has scared my family. She has said she's coming for me. She's going to physically harm me. She's going to hurt me. I am so scared that she's going to show up at my door. She's going to hurt me. I am terrified. That would be a lie. The judge is probably going to approve that because you're scared. And, oh, really? They're making threats? Okay. Well, here's the temporary restraining order. See, look, she puts axes in my chat. Temporary restraining order for 2 weeks, and then in 2 weeks, you're going to have to prove everything that you just said. That's why if you listen closely to Granny talking about this, she says, well, we'll see what happens. But for now, yet you'll see what happens. Basically, if you don't have confidence in your case, Granny, and it's a, well, we'll see what happens kind of scenario, that tells me, that's very telling that you don't have confidence in what you're doing and that you just like having this short period of time control, which is going to come back on you legally the day that it comes down to court. Because when you go in there, you might say, okay, well, it's dropped. Well, I tried. Oh, we're not done yet. If this is real, Lycan's going to be like, oh, no. We're not done here. This woman is using this. She is abusing the court system. And this case is going to carry on past just having it dropped. I can guarantee you that. Why? Well, let's hear why from my attorney. Okay.
Those aren't the exact legal terms from the statute. I don't actually have the statute pulled up, but basically what the judge is looking for is this person a threat to the petitioner? If the petitioner ran into this to the respondent, if they ran into each other at King Soopers or Safeway or any other grocery store, would the respondent cause this person bodily harm? Right. That's it. And that's a very rough version of what they call the burden of proof.
Do you think that one day, because I mean, just in my experience alone, I'm sure that there's abuse of this process multiple times. Do you ever think there'll be a day where that's kind of changed for the temporary order? Because it kind of seems like what you just said, that it's kind of easy just to go in and be like, hey, this is what happened. I'm threatened. Get the restraining order temporary and then have to prove yourself after that.
It is. I would say that it is very easy to do.
Yeah. I'm going to pause there. It's very easy to do this. And coming on, and I think that's a very important, if this does go to court, which I'm sure it will, if it's real, you have to. I think it's very important to point out, she came on immediately after and was basically bragging about it. She did it on 2 different panels. That's going to show a sign that you're not scared. And you can say, oh no, I was just telling people or whatever. No. A judge isn't going to see that. They're like, dude, if you're scared of this person, you're not going to speak about them. You're not going to antagonize them. You're not going to tell thousands of people about it. You're just going to feel protected and shut up about it. Brittany says, I'm telling you, people, sorry, I'm not picking my nose, but I've been blowing it so much that it's burning. And it's not from cocaine either. Those days are over. I'm telling you, Robbie, people talk mad trash and then come to your stream like they have an invisibility cloak. You have no way of knowing. It's beyond me. And it's funny because they don't even go based off their own experience with me. It's just stupid. This isn't an airport. Oh, that wasn't the real Morbid, by the way. So basically he's saying it's very easy to do. And the question I was asking him is, do you think one day, since people do abuse this system, that the law will change and they'll make it so that and I think it should be this way anyways. I don't see why it's not, but they should make it so that when you go into that courtroom, you need to provide evidence before even getting a temporary one. And then 2 weeks later, I think should be the hearing when, the correspondent responds and fights it. It is so crazy that people can just walk in and lie like that. And it's not okay. Should start a petition for that as well.
It depends on the judge. I've personally observed these ex parte proceedings where the judge will look at the person and say, I just nothing you've said reaches the level necessary for me to grant this protective order. And they'll turn them away and say, I'm sorry, I can't grant this protective order.
Right.
Some of it also depends on the petitioner. Like, there's been people that I've seen that have come in.
Yes, speculate.
That at least where I'm sitting, I think this person this person is in a dangerous situation. The other person.
Sorry, I'm muted. It's Chris Ponce. I used to say Chris Ponce, and then finally one day he said it. I was like, wait a minute, what did you just say? Ponce.
At least from what I can tell, is a danger. But the problem is the petitioner can't articulate well enough to the judge to either convince the judge or show the facts necessary based on their testimony that this other person is actually a threat. It's like they're not able to articulate their position well enough to convince the judge. Right. But then on the other hand, you have petitioners that are, extremely articulate, and they're extremely intuitive. So, as they're speaking with the judge, it's like they're picking up on whatever it is that they need to say, whether it's true or not.
Right.
They're picking up on the things that they need to say to just get the protection order. Right.
See? So, I mean, you can go in and play it up. Again, I'm not encouraging that, because you're going to have to explain all of that. Now, in my case, this person did lie, and I played it over and over to where I have never threatened anyone physically ever on my channel or in person, unless I'm like getting ready to get in a fist fight with somebody. Never. There would be clips of that all over the place. Where's this clip? Where's the clip? AJ's excuse when she dropped mine for lack of evidence? Oh, well, Robbie privates his streams. Bitch, you have so many clips of many streams I've privated. That is no excuse. You literally watch my every move. Captain Kangaroo said he has all of my videos. So if he has all of my videos, where's this supposed video of me threatening harm or to go to someone's home? It doesn't exist. It does not exist. So when my court date happened, the first one, because we were going to have another one after that, because AJ did not show up in court. She called in virtually, and she did not have permission to do that. The judge was upset about it, and then the judge offered us a deal, okay? And I had all of my exhibits ready to go, like to fight for it that day. AJ's like, and the judge is like, can you come down physically? Can you get down to the courthouse by the end of the day? No. Making excuse after excuse because she didn't want to be there in person. So the judge says, okay, well, we can either, which do you want to try for? We can either extend this and, you need to come in physically and provide proof. And AJ was making excuse after excuse to extend the temporary restraining order longer. And she said, okay, Mr. Brown, which is me, if you accept a 1-year restraining order, and AJ was like, yes, 1 year, please. She wanted the maximum. That was the maximum, 1 year. Then, this will be settled basically today. I said, absolutely not. I'm here to fight this. My attorney put together exhibits, and she's like, well, where is your attorney? He was in a different case that day, but he had all my exhibits ready for me to go. I've showed the billable hours for all of that shit. And basically I was like, no, she's using this as a weapon and not a shield. And I'm fighting this. So she extended it another, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, because AJ lied and said she was out of town. This is key. Pay attention to this part. She's going to be out of town for the next, it was like 3 weeks for the holidays. So within those 3 weeks that was extended, AJ reaches out to this man you see on the screen, my attorney. Are you really representing Mr. Brown? Blah, blah, blah. He says, yes, I'm entering my appearance for the next court date. I have to do it in person in Denver County because you can't do it like over the phone or online with them. AJ immediately goes physically to the courthouse when she was supposed to be out of town, remember? And drops it for lack of evidence. So you will see all these clips of me on here, from Captain, from her, which is Chromavault, all of it. Here's receipts, and here's this. The only receipts that matter are ones that you can prove in court. That would be none. Lack of evidence means no receipts. Period. Yes, and also 71, she lied. We have recordings of her, one saying she never reached out to him and then one saying she did, but I saw the text messages. He showed me the text messages. Anyways, let's keep going.
So most of the time, I would say that all the time, the judges are really good at trying to get to the truth.
Speed it up a little bit.
So to answer your question, it is an easy process.
Tell me if
to
that's
go through.
too
It's
fast.
easy for anyone to get a protection order. But at the end of all of this, and from a public policy standpoint, the judges can never fully know if someone is just lying to them.
Right.
Like it's, in any, you'd be surprised at how many people on a daily basis in criminal jury trials, in protective order cases, and civil trials walk into a courtroom, swear an oath, and sit down and lie. I mean, it's, it happens all the time. So,
oh yeah, I don't know how surprised I'd be by that, but there are a lot of people, like, we were talking about how there's other people on YouTube kind of right now that are going through the same thing, and just kind of going in and being like, I don't like what you said, or I don't like you're saying this about me, and I'm gonna get a protection order and stuff like that. And just from my experience, I try to explain to them, like, it's not just going to be you're going in, you're doing that. It's a process that you're going to have to go through. And I tried to explain as much as I can without, revealing personal information.
Sure.
And, stuff like that. But as far as like what I wanted to make clear to people too was when you get an attorney, and a lot of people, I hope you're paying attention to this right now, everybody that's trying to go through this.
No, Georgia.
When you get an attorney, I think the misconception is people think, oh, well, we donated money to Robbie. He doesn't need an attorney now, it goes back. But the process and the work that goes into all of that, the billable hours, all of that kind of stuff is kind of also.
I'm going to pause there because this is another lie. Basically, I'm showing my case with AJ, Georgia, because it's kind of the same as what Granny is doing, because she said she got a restraining order on Lycan General Legion recently. And it's YouTube shit. And so I'm showing my case, which happened about 2 years ago, but my attorney came on about, I don't know, a little over a year ago. And what I'm saying here to him as I paused is, as soon as this person that used the legal system and abused the legal system, abused the process of the legal system to further her harassment on me and have control and silence me, not only did she go down and drop it for lack of evidence, but during that time, my retainer, my attorney, they were nice enough to be retained for $2,000 to go back to court for the second hearing. When I contacted him and was like, now we got to go back. She extended it again. I had to hit that $5,000. Thanks to YouTube, my family here on YouTube, you guys helped me with $3,000 of that. And the other $2,000 I paid out of pocket. So it was $5,000 total that it cost me. Now, did I need an attorney? Now I know how to handle this. So no, but I'm glad I did. The day that AJ dropped it, it was around Christmas time. She went to her channel and she made a video saying, "Merry Christmas, Save Robbie. I hope you learned your lesson." And she continues in that video to say, "Now everybody go get a refund. He doesn't need a lawyer." Like I scammed people. Basically trying to put me in the hole to further harass me. When she knows my attorney was real. If you know anything about attorneys, you have to pay the retainer first. The money was already gone. And she was trying to get people to go into my PayPal to get refunds. So it puts my PayPal in a negative. Sounds like she was terrified. Yeah, right. Exactly. So do you see, like, it's, yeah, Brittany. Yeah, and yeah, I can still sue her. You know, but the whole, and it's not even about the money at this point. It's the time and the stress. I've always just wanted AJ to leave me alone. And here she continues on Kromavalt doing it, pretending like she's not Kromavalt. And that's all I've ever wanted. And when I speak about her, it's because there's video after video after video of me being tagged about my case. And I have to come on and correct it. Not only can I correct it on YouTube, but I can confidently correct it in a court of law as well. And she knows that. So she tries to get people to believe her on here because lack of evidence. I mean, shit, there's no fucking receipts. You can't clip shit in court and do all the clips and all that stuff that you can do on YouTube because lying in court is illegal. Is lying on here illegal? No. Your attorney was $275 an hour and goes quick. Oh, it goes very quick. Yes, goes very quick, Shannon. People all hope they will get the money Queen Bee has gotten, but no one hates Lycan as much as they hate Betty. I don't know, I mean, everybody has their haters, and it's one thing to make clips of people. It's one thing to, whether it's Betty, Lycan, whoever, it's one thing to do that, call people names, go back and forth. But when you try to call them things like they're a P word, or take it into real life and in court and try to silence them so that you can continue talking and they can't, that is not okay. Because Granny, I can vouch. I would do it under oath too. You may say that you do not talk about him on your channel. And I'm saying this to be kind, to help you, Granny. Not help you go after Lycan, because I don't support what you did. But you may feel some sort of power because you say, I don't talk about him. And you do ignore him on your channel. When you bring him up, you say don't advertise him and stuff like that. But you sure as hell are in chats nonstop. Like when you came into Morbid's chat when he was there, he wasn't bothering you. You came in bothering him. Now, a lot of people bring up the fact that Lycan, like 2 years ago, had said something that was pretty blunt and vulgar about, you know, they brought this up the other day saying that's part of the restraining order, which we'll see. Saying he told Granny how to do this to herself and that, like basically to harm herself or whatever. And I mean, it was in comedy and entertainment. A lot of people, you know, it's not funny to a lot of people, and I totally get it. If she was in fear of that, here's my question. And this is probably what the judge is going to ask you as well, Granny. If you felt in fear of that and you're going to use that on the restraining order, why didn't you do it back then when it happened? Not only that, but why did you become friends with Lycan after that? Go on his panels, support him just, I don't know how many months ago with the whole Amber thing. Why now? They're going to look at the timeline of everything from the revenge porn to present day. And I can almost guarantee a judge is probably going to say, you know, you have been going back and forth in chats. You may not do it on your channel, stuff like that. But a judge is probably going to say, I can understand why this man is upset. You spread naked pictures of him around. Join in groups that gang up on him, slander him, talk about his genitals. So this is simply back and forth. If you feel threatened in any way on a public platform, because remember, going to someone's channel is not stalking somebody. You're putting it public. You're on a public platform. If he was showing up at your house or something, that'd be different. They're going to say, this is simply back and forth banter. And if you cannot handle it, I would suggest that you do not engage in it any further. And I would suggest getting off a public platform if you don't want people to talk about you. If you want to bring up a slander case or defamation, that's a different story. And that is a different courtroom. This case is dismissed. Hey, Moon. So what we wanted to clear up. So if you wanted to explain kind of that process and how it works, that it's not just like, okay, you're my attorney and now let's do this, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So so to wrap up the kind of the technical aspect of the protection order process, that person goes in, let's say they convince the judge to grant the protection order. The protection order is just temporary at that point. So and for the protection order to be valid, the petitioner has to have it served on the respondent, personally served, which means they have to pay a process server to go to wherever that person physically is and hand them that protective order. And then the process server will write up an affidavit of service and return that affidavit to the petitioner. And then the petitioner will file that affidavit with the court as proof that the respondent was served with a protection order. Okay. So that's a temporary protection order. And then what happens is on that protective order that's served on the respondent, there's another court date. That court date is usually 3 weeks, a month in advance. And that next court date is a hearing where the judge is going to decide whether or not that temporary protection order is made permanent. Okay. Because a court can't grant a permanent protection order without the respondent having an opportunity to be heard, right? So that's why the original protection order that's granted is temporary, and then the permanent protective order hearing is later on, and both parties have to be present for that. Okay.
Can I pause you really fast?
Yes. Yeah.
Because there's a lot of other things that have been going on in different sides of YouTube. Right now with COVID restrictions, is that still a thing? Because like if they need to be there or not, because in my situation, I was like the only one there. So are they able to do it over Zoom now? Because people are making it sound like, oh no, you can do everything from the comfort of your own home and don't leave and don't go anywhere.
Yeah. So, that varies depending on the jurisdiction. As far as I know, all the courts are doing in-person proceedings now.
Okay.
I think there's some, and what I mean by proceedings, I guess, is like contested.
And by the way, I'm not doing this to be mean to Granny or to go at her or anything like that. But I've been through this, and I've been through back and forth with somebody who still continues, and I'll respond once in a while, and they just go every day, or their little their partner in crime, they go all day, every day. So I'm just doing this because, like, Granny, I know that like you have family and stuff like that. But if this gets to the point of beyond this order and it goes deeper, like into the revenge porn and stuff like that, that is not going to go very well legally for you. It's just not. A judge is going to look up everything that led up to the event of you getting that. And it is back and forth. And some of the things, well, one, we know for sure that you did by spreading revenge porn is highly illegal. Hey, Angela. It is highly illegal. I know, perplexed. I didn't know. I didn't even know who he was before you said that. Did you guys know that Sloan watches me sometimes? Hey, Sloan. You're so cool. And Gladys, thank you for I just saw the PayPal. Thank you for the PayPal. That was very sweet if you're still in here. She has actually committed a crime. Yes. And I mean, Lycan didn't do anything about that back then. Personally, if somebody did that to me and had gone on, I would have done something legally about it. Yeah, Scotty, I think so too. Scotty says, I guarantee she lied about their relationship if she really was granted an RO. Yeah, because most of these you're more likely to get one if there's like a romantic relationship or some sort of relationship like that, which I'm sure AJ milked and said something along the lines of that too. In her dreams. All right, so let me see if there's some other points he makes in here. So let me fast forward a little because
at that permanent protection order hearing,
here we
the
go.
judge will make a decision, and
now he's talking about
mostly in person.
When
now.
you go,
there's all kinds of
to
court hearings that aren't.
Sorry, now he's talking about when you go to the hearing, which basically, if you don't know what that is, it is, so you will get served the papers. And when I say and when I said I was served late at night, that was like, to me, it was like 7 p.m. But back then I had weird hours. I don't think a sheriff can serve you past like curfew. I don't think they can. But it was a sheriff that showed up at my door, handed me the paperwork, and I was like, are you kidding? And I told him, I was like, I literally was going on Tuesday to get a restraining order on this woman. How? She just beat me to it and lied. He's like, well, and he was really nice. He's like, I just have to serve it to you. I really, like, if she's crazy or whatever, just show your evidence in court. On this order is your court date. And that's the date that you will go in to prove your case. And basically that's what the permanent hearing is for, to decide if there's going to be a permanent order, an extended order, or if it's being dropped. So this is the part he's explaining about what happens at the permanent protection order hearing.
Like contested hearings are just like check-in dates and stuff like that. That can be virtual, but as far as I know, to answer your question, I think all the courts are requiring that people be in person.
If it's too fast, let me know. I have it sped up because, we were having serious talk, so it's kind of slow. Okay, sorry to pause. Okay. I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah. I'll come back and go kind of through the process that you had to go through. But so at that permanent protection order hearing, the judge will make a decision, and the burden of proof or the standard of proof is different at the permanent protection order hearing. And I wish I had it up. I should have queued that up prior to.
Do you need me to pull something up?
No, it's okay. What I'll say is that the standard is a little different. It's not quite at the permanent protection order hearing. It's not quite that the person presents an immediate threat, but it's more or less like a general threat to the person. So, but you'd have to look up the statute to find the exact legal language. But suffice it to say that.
So in this case, just for entertainment purposes only, and our opinions, what do you think, if you think this, what threat do you think Lycan is to Granny? Anyone? Yes, Mama Bear on Lycan, she said that she got a protection order. He's not served yet, though. None, Peach? Anyone? What kind of threat he is that would get this granted? Not the temporary one, because remember, that's very easy to do. None? Oh, Sloan found you because I think Laura Perplex did candles for Sloan, right? And then he found me through Laura. She came in one day and told me, I was like, who's that? He's very talented. None? Sally Ann, that's just the demon in you speaking. He has a better beard than her, okay? Georgia says, he does harass her. Okay, that's fair also, but in what way? Like, is it unwanted harassment as far as like maybe not back and forth? And I'm not being mean to you. I'll turn on my camera. I'm just like, for the conversation matter, just so we can have a better understanding. Like, is it unwanted? Because I think what a lot of people don't see, and this is another reason that I think Granny says, I'm not going to advertise this person's channel or don't mention their name in my chat, because of the fact that she does not want another side of the story to be heard, because it, could just change somebody's mind and they won't listen to her. That's just my opinion. But when she tells her audience, and I know this for a fact because I've seen it with my own eyes, when she tells her audience, we don't talk about him, and she may play it up or act or not mention him, what her audience doesn't see is a lot of them don't know she has a backup channel, strictly, I believe, for drama. But she also goes into other people's chats, either under her backup or herself, that are going after Lycan, that are talking about Lycan's sexuality, talking about him in explicit ways, talking about his genitals, going after him, harassing him. Some people that have actually doxed him, all sorts of stuff. And she's participating in that. She's following him into chats when he's on a panel, having a conversation, trying to get people to turn against him and boot him out. So, yes, does Lycan go back at her, and can it be seen as harassment if we don't see the other side? Absolutely. Some of the things that even I say or Lycan says, it could be pretty, you could hurt someone's feelings or insult them. But it's not like unwanted attention, because she goes the same, if that makes sense. It's back and forth. It's not just one side. Okay, you responded. Just look at Crime Sleuth, for example. She was talking to her, and Lycan immediately went to Crime Sleuth's channel and commented, stating that she can come on his panel to basically talk shit. Yeah, and no, I totally understand that. And yeah, so that can be looked at as Lycan going to channels or whatever. But a judge isn't going to see it like that, because the judge is going to be like, love you, Iris. A judge is going to be like, well, it's a public platform. We're all intermingled somehow. And I can also say, like, hasn't Granny gone over to ODNs or, haters of Lycan as well? She's done that. So, I mean, it's my point is it's tit for tat. Like, is Lycan innocent completely in things? No. Am I innocent completely in things? No. But in a court of law, it's going to be like, dude, this is like back and forth. Both of you need to fucking move on, is basically, in my experience, I believe what a judge is going to say in this scenario. Now, again, I don't know what Granny has put on those documents, anything like that. I'm just saying, based on, I truly have experience on this. I know how this goes. Even trying to get an order on someone else, I know how it goes. So, but yeah, and I wasn't trying to be like snarky or anything, because Granny and I have had our back and forth, and I don't agree with a lot of things she does. And I have witnessed her lying a lot about me specifically. So yeah, but I understand, like, she has people that are backing her and supporting her. But I think it's important for people to see both sides. And also, if it's going to go down to legal stuff, that it's going to be looked at in detail as far as back and forth. All right, I'm going to push play.
The burden of proof is different. However, now it's a contested hearing, and both sides get to speak to the court. Okay. If someone gets a permanent protection order in their criminal history, because it's all documented in a person's criminal history. Mm-hmm. The criminal histories are kept by an indexing system. It's known as the NCIC/CCIC. That would be for Colorado specifically, but nationwide, it's known as the NCIC, and I believe it stands for the National Criminal Indexing Center, if I remember that correctly. It's mm-hmm. something like that. But it's a database that's managed by the FBI. And then all the various states can be participants in that data sharing program. And so the various states have their own versions of the FBI. So in Colorado, there's an agency called the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, CBI. So that's why you got the National Criminal Indexing Center / the Colorado Criminal Information Center, or something like that. So if the judge grants a permanent protection order against a person, that goes into the NCIC, CCIC here in Colorado.
Now, I'm going to pause there before he continues. What he's about to say is the effect that it will have on the person that is being accused, on the person that the restraining order is being placed upon. It does not just, it protects the individual, that the petitioner, but it harms the other person, especially if it's not true. It can keep somebody from moving into certain places, from getting jobs. It stays on your record, from a lot of things. Any place that's going to pull up a criminal record of some sort, this is going to show up on. And if you're a restrained person, that restrains you not only from that person, but a lot of things in life that you can do. And if I'm going to have to pull out my restraining order, but I'm pretty sure that my restraining order said on it, and I was like, holy shit, good thing I didn't do that. I didn't even know I couldn't. It said you are to refrain. You cannot even drink alcohol. I was like, what? When I read that part, during the temporary, I cannot consume substances or alcohol during that time. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? But yes, and I will pull it out and I'll show where it said that. It literally said that on my restraining order. Do not drink alcohol. Now, I don't know if they would have come for me if I did or whatever, but it's very damaging to the person. But he's going to get into that.
Colorado. And then police officers, private businesses, government entities, nonprofit organizations, basically anybody who wants to see it can pull that information on you. Mm-hmm. And it's absolutely devastating to I would say, to a person's reputation. It's extreme reputational harm, because basically what it says is that you are a restrained person. So right. Like it basically labels you as a scumbag, pretty much, like, for lack of a better term, because anytime you're such a threat, such a turd to somebody, that that person then has to go get a protection order against you, right? And that's logged into this database in this system that everybody can see. Well, then everybody can see, like, yeah, you're just a turd. You're a violent person. You're a persona non grata, right? Like you're somebody that is a problem, and so that can create some serious issues, like in terms of collateral consequences for anybody. Like if you want to get a job at a certain place, if you want to get licensures, like if you ever wanted to be a nurse, or if you ever wanted to be a police officer or a doctor or a lawyer or a psychotherapist or any.
I don't think Lycan wants to be any of those, but what if he did? What if anybody did? What if I did?
Any of these kind of professional domains, the licensure requirement, going through that process, they're going to be able to pull that information up, and it's going to make things very difficult for you. So it's crucial for a person just looking out for their own interests to make sure that they contest the protection order that is going to be made permanent. Not necessarily because that person wants to have anything to do with the other person or the petitioner, but more because that person wants to protect their integrity and protect their reputation, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so how do I say this? So basically, as far as like reputation, and I'm going to use me again for an example. When this was done to me by AJ, which, by the way, I have my protection order right here and some of my exhibits. Okay. When this was done to me, still to this very day, the very person that got the restraining order on me and dropped it for lack of evidence, when they found out I had this wonderful, very classy attorney, it was dropped for lack of evidence. To this day, this person still tries to tarnish my reputation by saying everything that she said, which was a lie, in court, and try to use clips of certain things and all sorts of stuff to make me look like this terrible, evil person. And you have to think to yourself, because again, it's important to see both sides, like I just said. But think to yourself for a moment, folks. This person, AJ, that does this to me nonstop on Chromavault and over on Captain Kangaroo and Space Monster and all them, if I'm so terrible and she has all these receipts of everything, why is there lack of evidence? Yes, Laura, it is for physical fear. It's if your health and your safety are in danger, that's what it's for. Basically, if someone's going to mess with you physically, if you don't feel physically safe, that's what it is for. I'm trying to find on here where it was telling me about the alcohol. Oh, here we go. So, general information. So, pursuant to 18 UCS 922G8, it is unlawful for any person to possess or transfer a firearm who is subject to a court order that restrains such person from harassing, stalking, or threatening an intimate partner of such person or a child of such intimate partner or person, or engaging in other conduct that would place an intimate partner in reasonable fear of bodily injury or to the partner or child. So this also takes away someone's right to bear arms. I'm trying to find the alcohol part. Maybe it's on my end because this is the extended one. It is on there somewhere though. Iris says, I pray for the people who are miserable and try to make others miserable. Misery loves company. Satan is an instigator and loves creating division, using anyone and anything to steal their joy. Amen to that. So let me get this straight, okay? And I don't know if Granny knows, but she's in true crime, so she should know this. Okay? Granny and many people have made a joke out of somebody, well, and I don't know if you guys know this. So let's break it down. Granny got a restraining order on Lycan because whatever reasons, okay? But just weeks ago, Lycan was live streaming. Somebody showed up on his security camera at his door, texting him, basically taunting him, come outside. I don't remember exactly what they said, taunting him. And this is obviously a person from YouTube. You know, he didn't know who this was. He didn't know what they were going to do to him. This was made a joke by many that don't like him. Granny has participated in that. So Granny, what you're doing, if you did in fact lie, is you're taking away his right to bear arms and to protect himself. That may not be your intention, but that's an effect that it has on him. If he has people showing up, threatening him, doxing his address, doing all that kind of stuff, which has happened, his right to bear arms is taken away. So you got to think about how it affects somebody just simply because you don't like what they're saying about you on the internet. Now, Granny was saying that 2 other orders that day were denied. And I'm guessing one was probably Angela, Clips and Giggles. That's just a guess. And it was denied. People have the right to criticize you and commentate. You're a public figure. They do not have the right to stalk you, which, by the way, going to your channel is not stalking you. If they were going to your channel, leaving threatening comments, and it could be linked to them in digital forensics, sure. But if they're watching you, that's like somebody having a restraining order on somebody that's an actor and saying, oh, they're still watching my TV show. They're still watching my movies. And you're a public figure. First Amendment. Only in her state, though, Robbie. What did you say before that? Hold on. Trying to see what you said before that, Laura. I didn't know you knew this side of you. Oh, I don't know what she said. Lycan says, I have many people from the Legion who can back up everything that's happened last year, and I was stalked actually in real life. Yes, and that's why everything, like in these moments, you need to seriously be documenting everything. Clips of actual live streams, not clip channels of her, actual dates of live streams, timestamps of live streams, or anything that you have witnessed this stuff happening to you. Hey, Sway, any of that kind of stuff. Any harassment, the revenge porn, everything. literally. And it's exhausting, time consuming. It causes you anxiety, all of this shit. And so, Granny, again, this is just advice on, you know, this may feel good to you. You finally got a one up or have control or whatever it is. You know, you're comfortable. Well, we'll see what happens. But I hope you're preparing as well. And I'm not saying this to go after Lycan because there is no evidence of physical harm or anything like that I've witnessed. But if you're just sitting back relaxing during this time, Granny, like, I would suggest that you start putting together your case, because it's not just going to be as easy as walking in and telling lies. And remember, you're under oath and there's consequences, and you're under oath when you fill this shit out too. Yes, Talisa, I agree with that. They talked for a month or so. She ended it. He then announced Jess sent him photos that he finally admitted was not true, back and forth. Again, yeah, KNS, it's been back and forth for a long time. But back and forth is not unwanted attention from either party. At that point, it's not harassment is, and that's why you guys, you may make jokes about cease and desist, but they fucking are there for your documentation. It may not shut the other person up. Most people, they continue after that. But at that point, when they continue, if you choose to go legal on that person, you can take that cease and desist that has the date on it, that has their name on it, when you file whatever you're filing to go legal, and say, look, on this date, I requested that they stopped. It's documented that I requested, and they're still going on. And that's why I'm pursuing this. So people make jokes out of it, but a cease and desist is very handy. Apparently, if you don't agree with them, you just, oh yeah, if people are being respectful, please don't block or time them out. Because this is an open conversation, and this is in no way to attack anybody. It's just simply to say, we're all here, we give our opinions, we're assholes, and people are assholes back to us sometimes. But when it goes outside of that and we're trying to mess with people's real life, this is real life, you guys. This is someone went real life on me, and they're still going on the internet. Did you see Tattoo's post about this? Claims he won't be able to bring up revenge porn because the statute of limitations has passed. That's not true. He can still present that in defense. Yeah, I mean, even if there's a statute of limitations, that's still documentation that she is. It's more about the behavior. So absolutely, that can be part of evidence. I think that would be a big key in the evidence. You know, as far as prosecuting her for that, sure, the statute may have expired. I don't know what the statute is on that of limitations, but it's definitely part of evidence to show how we've got to this point, how we've gotten to the point of him getting upset that he may say things, mean things, stuff like that. But you're also going to have to take into account, how many times has Lycan contacted her outside of YouTube? Now, Lycan, you're free. I don't know. You haven't been served yet, so you could talk about this if you want. Have you contacted her phone or email? Have you gone to her house, anything like that? Mailed her anything threatening or anything like that? Because if you went on your channel, which is for entertainment purposes, and that's why it's very important if you're on here stating your opinions, it's allegedly, it's for entertainment. If you're doing a parody, satire, you need to, a lot of people post these videos, their channels get fucking taken down all the time because they're not putting a description in their videos. They're not putting a description on their channel saying, these are my opinions, or this is just comedy, this is parody, this is satire, this is commentary. And people wonder why their channels fucking go down. You need to have disclaimers on your channel and your videos. Lycan has that. It is for entertainment purposes. You are a public figure. Anybody is that he speaks about on here. So he's free to make jokes, entertainment, parody, satire, sarcasm, all of that shit. And it clearly states it is for entertainment purposes. If he's not contacting you outside of YouTube, any of this shit, then that is not harassment. You leave your comments open, folks. If you leave your comments open to the public, that is for anybody to comment on. You could turn your comments off. You can do members only. You could set your videos to private. But there is a difference with public. Which I'm just going to say one thing about that. Because I know Hooker and Manda, they always talk back and forth. And which they doxed me, by the way. And in return, they got the same shit. But I did not go after any kids. Okay? I saw a full body picture of Manda on her public Facebook. Now, this is where lies. This is how it's very easy to point out lies. Because a long time ago when this happened, they said I was getting pictures from their Facebook and all this stuff from Hooker's deceased relative. Manda and Hooker just said the other day, it was private. If your Facebook was private, how could anybody get pictures from it? Because there's a little earth symbol that says public. And I did a live stream, like, I don't know, year and a half ago, showing and clearing my name and saying, look, anybody can go to their Facebook. I shared the screen. Everything was public. And I proved that on a live stream. And they're saying, he shared pictures. No, I was proving that anybody could have gone to your Facebook. They shortly after that privated their Facebook. But if there was public photos, or let's say they were private, there'd be no way for anybody to see those. Do you see how that works? And there is a picture of Manda, and I'm still saying it's Manda. Same googly eyes, everything. And I just put a stupid cartoon over the face. And oh my God, I was harassing her. That's a child. There was no fucking kids when that shit was posted in a video. And I would gladly prove that shit in court. People take shit out of context on here all the time to fit their narrative and try to attack others. Hey, Turtle Gum. It also is illegal to have a fundraiser claiming you have cancer when you don't. Pennsylvania is hard on people. Why do that? And considering Charity has a criminal history of theft, it would be worse. By the way, who is Elliot Rogers? Hold on a minute. Granny compared Lycan to Elliot Rogers repeatedly. I don't even know who that is, so let me see. Elliot Rogers. Oh. 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 Did you see his cause of death? Oh, he killed people. Elliot Rogers killed 6 people and injured 14 by gunshot, stabbing, and vehicle ramming. Hold on a minute. She's comparing him, but she's not comparing Mandy C. This isn't against you, Mandy C, at all. But Mandy C, listen, that's another reason you know this is just to target Lycan. So many people have done horrible things to her. You don't see a fucking restraining order there, do you? So, just picking and choosing which one, right? Which one? And that's not about safety. Plenty of people have threatened Granny's safety. I'm not denying that. Lycan is not one of them. I have not ever witnessed that, but I have witnessed other people doing it, and it's not okay. You may not like Granny, you may not like Lycan, you may not like a lot of people, and it is not okay to do that. It's not okay to threaten people. It's not okay to go after people and stuff like that. It is not. She's threatening Lycan with that because he's gone. Is that her way of saying he'll end up the same? Who knows, Kimberly? I mean, that's a pretty rough... Not only a murderer, I didn't even know who he was till now, but his cause of death as well was unaliving. So, I mean, all of this needs to be... I heard a clip the other day somebody played of her talking about Lycan's sexuality and being gay and stuff like that. Hold on a minute. I want to check something. I'm going to hit play while I'm checking something. And that's why, you know, and I'm glad you explained it like that, because like I said, this isn't just for my experience that I've had, but there's so many other people. It seems like ever since my experience happened, there's other people in other communities on YouTube that just are like, oh, I'm going to go do that and stuff. And it's like, well, there's a lot more to it than that. Because the initial, you know, going into the courthouse, all that sounds really easy. But then it's the after the fact, proving everything, going to court, you know, you went over the initial part, but then after that is kind of when the work really goes in. It's not.
Sure. Yeah. So in your case, you know, specifically, you know, the petitioner, I'll refer to the other YouTube person, I'll refer to as the petitioner. The petitioner went and got the petitioner went and went through that whole ex parte process. So you weren't even around for that, right? You had no clue that that was even happening. The petitioner went and got this protection order and essentially stated that you were an imminent threat to this person, or at least convinced the magistrate that you presented a threat.
I'm going to pause there. If anybody knows about my case, hit a 1 if you think that I've ever been a threat to Krumavald, AJ. Hit a 2 if you think she's more of a threat to me. Because this is what I'm saying, folks. The two-way shit, the back and forth, the taunting, the instigating, that is back and forth. That has nothing to do with harassment. Are both parties in the wrong? Sure. Both parties should grow the fuck up. You're welcome, Lycan. Because I take it seriously. It's serious. It's not just YouTube stuff. And like Granny was saying in her soft voice the other day on, I think it was Juror's panel. And nothing against you, Juror, or Amber, or anything. But this is not okay. Her whole demeanor has changed since she said she filed it. She was speaking in very soft tones because she thinks, oh, now I'm being listened to. Oh, no, no, no. Your past shit is also going to be listened to. Three, I would make sure it was edited to 1 page because judges don't like reading long witness statements. That's true. But I mean, it's important to get witness statements, even possibly witnesses. I know in Amy's case, when she had that thing with Just K, Amy was on her own with her attorney. And I think Jess had like 3 different people. I think Dorothy was one of them at the time. People that sworn in to be witness. But I would be very careful about who you choose as witnesses as far as, you know, credibility or the seriousness of it. You know, there's a difference between harassment and stalking. AJ Krumavald is stalking you. Exactly, Talisa. And it's not just on here. I'm not even just talking YouTube. I mean, this is a woman who literally flew out to Vegas when she knew very publicly, everyone knew that I was getting married and many people were flying in from YouTube. And at the same exact time, did it. Taunting people, flipping people off on the camera, just acting like a crazy person. And still to this day is like, I booked my trip first. It's just a coincidence. Oh no, that is no coincidence. This is a person who does follow me physically. But she's so afraid, or any of them, right? DeLorean says, Scotty, if you could write an affidavit of facts and have it notarized, that would be awesome. Getting a notary is a very, very good idea. Very good idea. Okay, hold on. Yes, that is correct, Robin. I keep my window unlocked. There's the train I'm going to mute.
Threat to this person's safety, so like physical safety. And so the protection order was granted as a temporary protection order. After that, you were served with that protection order, and then you were notified of the date that the permanent protective order hearing was going to be, which was in like 3 or 4 weeks or something like that.
Yep.
And then in the time in between, that's when you called me up. And so the whole, I guess the process, my representation of you was essentially a lot of information gathering. First of all, in a situation like this, especially where you have social media personalities, there's a lot of
pay attention to this part. So he's talking about social media personalities. Now, remember, that's another lie AJ says, that I never had an attorney. While you're fucking looking at him.
Background that has to be gathered, right? I mean, as an attorney, you've got to understand both sides, and you just got to root out what the facts are. You have to try and figure out the truth and the facts, like, what's really going on between these two, my client, which is you, and the petitioner, right? So that's what I did. I mean, I had to review a lot of your online content, particularly content where you're making direct references to the petitioner. I had to review as much of the petitioner's online content where this person is referring to you directly, and that's a lot. That's hours and hours of content. So
that was a lot.
Yeah, I mean, truth be told, I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you or not, but there was a lot of stuff that I actually didn't bill you for. So,
oh wow, well, thank you.
Yeah. I mean, I capped it. I capped the bill at a certain
He was
point.
awesome.
But there was some things that it's just like we're going over some of this stuff, and that's not uncommon. I mean, I do that for clients generally, because if I were to charge my hourly rate, which is $325 an hour for clients, just have the clock rolling for every single thing that I do. I mean, at some point, sometimes it gets to be kind of outrageous. So
yes, I could imagine.
Yeah. So in your case, there was a lot.
Hold on, I'm going to pause. I think he looks like, who's that guy? He was in one of the Batman movies. Like, I think it was Dark Knight Rises. He ended up being Robin at the end. Who was the guy that was in Third Rock from the Sun? He used to be the skinny kid, but now he's grown up. I think that's who my attorney looks like. I don't know his name though. I can't think of his name. I'll think of it.
A lot of stuff to review, and I did enter my appearance in your case because there's a case. So anytime a person gets a protection.
All right. So Captain Kangaroo, are you listening to that? This is somebody who simps for AJ, says there was no case. I'm looking at the case number right now on my papers. There is a case. My lawyer just said that. Yes, thank you, Thea. Joseph Gordon Levitt. That's who he looked. Levitt. That's who my attorney looks like. He just said, AJ says that's another lie. He never entered his appearance. He just said he did enter his appearance. So again, folks, this is where the internet and real life kind of clash, because a lot of people just believe clips, rumors, bullshit, people saying lies, that's a lie, when I can prove every single one of the things that I have done and said are real and true. Not only on here, but I'm very fully confident in a court of law as well. That's why I marched my beautiful face into that courtroom with my head high, looked around, no AJ there. You want to know why? Because you can't have filters in court. And you can't lie in court.
Right. There's an actual case number that's created. And so I entered my appearance into your case. And that might have been after the first hearing, the first contested hearing.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, by the way. I didn't know if I can ask you or not, and you could answer it however you want to, but a big misconception and rumors online were, Robbie's attorney never showed up to court. He took your money. He was there by himself, but you entered it after my first appearance because I had, all the work that you had put into my case prior to the first hearing was what you were just speaking of, all of that stuff you had to review, go over, there's exhibits and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for clearing that up.
Yeah. And if I remember right, I think that you were supposed to ask for a continuance that day because I had court in another location on that day. I was in Fort Morgan on that particular day because.
Pay attention to that part. Remember how AJ says there was no attorney. There is no attorney. He's explaining. He had been working with me and for me from the very beginning. He could not make it. He was at a different case in Fort Morgan, and I was supposed to get a continuance that day. So there's another lie debunked.
So when you're served with that protection order and the court hearing, like, you don't get to decide when the court hearing is. You're just summoned to it, right? So regardless of what, and that's another part of the inconvenience of being a respondent, especially a respondent who's really not a threat to anybody, you know, like you. So you know, kind of the injustice of it is that, you know, like, you are forced to go to this court date. You're summoned to it, just like if you were pulled over by a cop and given a speeding ticket, right? Like, the cop writes the court date on there, and you don't have a choice. Like, that's the day. So in this situation, you were given that court date, and you had no choice in the matter. And so by the time you contacted me, I was already scheduled to be somewhere else. However, and I'm not even sure if the retainer had been posted entirely by that court date either.
No.
Yeah, I don't think it had been. So, you know, our firm's policy, generally speaking, is going to be, you know, unless the retainer is posted in full, we're generally not going to appear or enter our appearance on behalf of people until that retainer is paid in full. So
exactly. And just like I just told you guys, I had to pay the $2,000 in the beginning, and then I had to pay the additional $3,000 after the first hearing, when AJ was saying to get a refund. You can't just get a refund. It's a retainer, and there's already been work done and money. Pretty much the $2,000 was like gone. That's why I had to pay them more as well. So for her to do that was like damaging my, you know, my finances. She was trying to. Luckily, nobody got a refund because I provide facts. I provide evidence and proof to show this is where the money went, guys. Anytime I've done a fundraiser, I've done that. My wedding, clearly. When I moved into our apartment, clearly I showed that. So I'm not a scammer. And I'm just going to say this. And this is not to, like, tell anybody where to go or anything like that. But what I'm asking people to do, like, because the only reason I'm talking about this now is, well, first of all, this person never stops that did it to me. But it's the same scenario, technically. You know, it's pretty much the same scenario that Lycan and Granny are going to go through if this is real. And you can go through. I have all my evidence on my channel. So I would appreciate if you see my name tagged in, you know, these channels, I'm not going to name, you know who they are, that speak about this and try to defame me, try to convince people other than the facts. Please don't even give them the click or the view. Because people send it to me all the time. Look, did you see this? Don't even click on it, even to want to send it to me or to even entertain it yourself, because it's just giving them the algorithm to continue harassment and just lies. And if you come to me, I can provide every fucking proof of everything that I've said. I wouldn't go into a court of law or even get an attorney if I knew I was in the wrong. I'd be like, oh, fuck, I'm busted. But I'm not busted because I didn't do anything wrong. Not one fucking thing, except run my mouth. And that's something I work on a continuous basis. Yeah, don't give them the recognition, the time. Don't even entertain the fact. That's all if you want to. I'm not telling you what to do, but I would appreciate it. Because that's what they live for. Like, ooh, I got another one to turn against him or whatever. No, I have facts and I can show them very easily. A lot of them I can't show on here because I'm not going to dox people and I'm not going to do all that kind of stuff. Character witnesses, yes. Robbie, if you had, after especially spending all you did on your lawyer fees, you could have filed defamation case in one. Absolutely, Bethany. And we were continuing. My plan was to prosecute her for abuse of process. So let me make this clear, as Mrs. Portland would say. This person that did this to me, they often say that I have harassed their family. They recently played a clip where I said her ex-lover reached out to me, and they're like, he reached out to him. And they twist things. But as far as continuing with it, you want to know why I didn't continue suing or prosecuting? Because she has a family. I didn't want to punish her family for shit she did. And I hoped that she learned her lesson. And I hope others, that's why I'm showing this, Granny, will learn just, we need to start dealing with shit in a different way. Turn the other cheek. Maybe stop barking at each other. I'm still guilty of it. I need to work on that. But I've come a long fucking way from where I was. Like Joyce Meyer says, I may not be where I want to be, but thank God I'm not where I used to be. That's a good question if he's licensed in other states, Yvette. I think I even put the law firms. Hold on a minute. I'll tell you. He has a whole like profile you can read online. Give me a second. Oh, now he switched. Now he's at Paul Wilkinson Law Firm. If you Google Chris Ponce, it'll show you his law firm and his profile and stuff like that. And it says like what he grew up in. He grew up in like a dysfunctional household, and it tells like his background and stuff. Oh, I would love to be an actor. I would love that. Because you have a heart, something many on this platform don't. Thank you, Brittany. I'll tell you now, someone having a family or mercy for another is not going to matter in this instant. Zero mercy in this case. Well, and you know what? I do actually regret not pursuing. I'm not saying I'm pursuing charges on the person that did it to me, but I do regret it because this person has just gotten more aggressive and scary. I mean, I never in a million years thought that this person would fucking literally try to intimidate us on my wedding day. That's fucking weird. But yeah, I wish I would have pursued, but I didn't. So everything happens for a reason. All right, I'm going to keep playing this.
You know, that's generally true. There's exceptions that are made from time to time. But in this case, I don't even think that I entered my appearance until after that first court date, technically speaking. But I know that I did. And then there was a second court date that was set after that for another contested hearing, because you showed up to the first one. The petitioner actually did not show up in person. The petitioner was online, and the court had made it clear that it was an in-person hearing. So the court continued the protection order hearing and then set another date for another contested hearing. And so
he's saying the court had made it clear to my petitioner that it is in person. You are not to call in via Zoom. And that's what they did. Hey, Sam. Oh, I love you, Sam Hill. Hope you're doing good. You're cool. I think you're cool.
During that time is when I did most of the preparation. And like I say, you know, as an attorney, I have to do everything I can to do the best job that I can, because people's legal interests are at stake, right? Like your reputation is at stake in perpetuity. So like for all we knew at that moment in time, we show up to this contested protection order hearing and we're not prepared, and there's a permanent protection order that's put in your file, your reputation is screwed for a long time. So I had to review a lot of materials. I mean, I had to look at all the YouTube content back and forth. You know, there was some other kind of miscellaneous information that you had provided to me. I think there was some communications between you and the petitioner. I don't know if that was through email. I think it was through email, and things like that I had to review.
Oh yeah.
And then I also had to try to make attempts to track down the transcript from the ex parte proceeding to go over that.
Listen to this part. This is key. And I hope you're listening. So basically what you're supposed to do when you are petitioning the person and going in to file a restraining order is you're sworn in front of a judge. In my case, the pandemic was going on still, and it was kind of an easier way to file. What he's about to explain is he was trying to get the transcript from my petitioner going into court, and what she said with her own mouth. That transcript does not exist because my petitioner went to the clerk, the clerk, county clerk, turned in the paperwork, and it was just approved and got like a phone call or email that it was approved based on what she wrote. What did she write, you ask? Well, I'll show you. Right here. Said that I stated that I was coming for her and to expect a knock on the door. And that there was no weapon. Her child was present. And then she quoted, and this is from, and Shipwreckback can vouch for this. I said, you just wait, bitch. That smirk on your face is going to look real pretty when I'm done with you. That was a quote from me and Beck going back at each other, and we were just dragging each other's live streams. And me and Beck, even now, we're good. And she took that quote and put it on there, like I said it to her. And that wasn't even a threat of violence. We were talking about like going back and forth at each other. That's all she put, and it was approved. What I actually said was, I'm filing a restraining order, expect a knock on Tuesday, and it's going to be legal. And I specifically said, it's not going to be me, it's legal. And she went and lied, twisted my words. It was as easy as that. And when she found out that she's going to get in big trouble for doing that, she dropped it for lack of evidence. Okay. But he's explaining here why that doesn't exist. So if Granny went in and did hers, I'm guessing it is perjury. If she did hers in front of a judge, that's why I said for Lycan to get a FOIA on the transcript. Lycan, if you're listening, I know I say that you don't need an attorney for this. Like, I know a lot about it. But it could be a good idea to get one, do a fundraiser for one. Why not? Or at least reach out to one and get advice. That's what I would recommend, because they'll be able to steer you more in the right direction. Again, you can do it without one. Yeah, FOIA. I mean, definitely FOIA, because the words of it's not only what they put on the order, but it's also what they said. That's very important. How they said it. What was the tone in their voice? All of that is important. I'm almost done, Michael.
And figure out exactly what was said about you, right? So when you're defending protection order cases, when people handle this on their own, this is kind of what it looks like. Petitioner goes in and says, he's scary or she's scary, they're threatening me. The respondent goes in there and says, no, I'm not, right? so it's like, how do you, a lot of times, in those situations, the judge has just essentially got to say, well, who do I believe more, right? And so that can be very difficult for the judge, and it's also risky for the respondent. The best way to defend protection order hearings is to explain why there's no truth in the allegations made by the petitioner, right? So and I don't want to keep talking too long. If you have a question, feel free to jump in.
No, you're doing great. Awesome.
Okay. All right. So
you're like clearing up everything that I wanted to do. So thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, absolutely. So so one of the common, I guess, like miscommunications or just nebulous areas in the facts behind a protective order case is the respondent in fact a threat to the petitioner, right? So there's a difference between a person's perceptions and reality. Some people will say perceptions are reality. I don't think that that's true. I don't think that there's no way that you can found any sort of justice system or any sound philosophical creed, or you can't build a life, you can't build a culture, you can't build a society on the idea that perceptions are reality. Like, you just can't.
I agree.
There is objective truth, there's objective reality, and then there are people's perceptions. So and people's perceptions vary in degree of proximity to the truth, to the objective truth.
Right there. And I'm going to pause there because I personally can vouch that not only I don't watch Granny's true crime. I've heard her comment on a few true crime things and found it silly. Her perception of things in my personal opinion, and this is just my opinion, I do not see Granny as a true crime creator. I see her as somebody who started in drama, because she did, going at Natasha Cooper, and she saw that popular true crime names, if they're tagged in your videos or if you're talking about them, will get attention. And that's why when Granny's like, oh, they're just using my name for clout or whatever, I will do that. And I will put your name in here and I will address you, period. I'm not tagging a deceased person's name for clout. I'm tagging the person that I'm addressing. And when I'm addressing a person, I don't tag passed on people to get attention. And I don't cover, that's why I haven't done true crime really since like Jessica Ridgway, Chris Watts, like doing stuff with Mexi. The paranormal side is interesting to me, but I realized a lot of it was popular cases, and it didn't feel right. And it did get my channel a lot of attention. That's how I got up to 10,000 subscribers. And I was like, I like talking about other things. I don't want to talk about this depressing stuff all the time. I'm interested in listening to it, but I'm interested in a lot of other shit that's uplifting. So I don't do that. I do see her as somebody who does do that. And she has specifically twisted things about myself that she's got wrong that I've heard and stated it as fact. Or I've seen her read in her chat that somebody comes in with a rumor about me and she's like, oh, see, he did that. And it's like, that's not a fact. That's hearsay. So hearsay is going to be key in court as well. And your perception of somebody. And I think we all know Granny's perception on Lycan is not good. So it's a bias, in my personal opinion, very aggressive, controlling way to manipulate.
So in situations where you have people getting protection orders, a lot of times it's because they feel like offended.
Yeah.
Right. And so a person goes in and wants to get a protection order because I'm offended. This person did something that I don't personally like.
By the way, congratulations to Natasha Cooper. She just hit 10,000 followers on TikTok. She also was on, her stream was on Entertainment Tonight, TMZ. And she's also been, I don't know if I can say this. Just say, look out for her on Lifetime. The series. That's all I'm going to say, is what maybe possibly is possible. So congratulations to Natasha, because she does deserve, and she is a very entertaining person. And I'm glad she's finally, like, fuck the whole YouTube shit, you know? She is Natasha Cooper, and nobody's going to stop her from being Natasha Cooper, no matter where she goes. Again, I say that also because Granny started her channel on Natasha Cooper.
Right. Well, that's an abuse of the process. First of all, it's an abuse of the process to try and destroy somebody because you are offended. Mm-hmm. Right. Unless that person is in reality a threat to you.
That's what I was talking about in Lycan's chat. Abuse of process. Just because you don't like somebody and you're going back and forth is not means to get an order. Unstoppable. How invincible. I'm unstoppable. Unstoppable today. Drama streams trashing people mixed with missing. Oh my God, I completely agree with that, Yvette. Missing cases. This is the way I see it. Like, I think a lot of people use true crime as like, okay, I need a little more boost in my streams and my views and stuff like that. So they'll randomly throw it in there. With me, and I have said this over and over and over and over and over again. Like, even the petitioner, she's like, he needs content. He's talking about me. Bitch, I talk about whatever the fuck I want to. And even when I have 70 people in my stream, I'm still here. I'm not logging off just because of a fucking number. And I'm not logging on for a number. If you listen, you do. If you don't, you don't. If you do it live, you do. If you watch the replay, you don't. It doesn't fucking matter. And numbers do not define who the fuck you are. Your impact does. That's why I just said congratulations to Natasha, because it ain't about the fucking numbers. She's fucking Natasha Cooper everywhere, not just somebody on YouTube who has lots of followers. That bitch is known, and she's Natasha. End of story, drunken hoary.
You have no business going and getting a protection order against that person, because you could destroy that person's life because you're offended, right? And the onus is on the person to be honest about the reality and be discerning as to whether or not this other person really is a threat to them. In many situations, people believe what they want to believe, right? If you don't like somebody and you just find this person, disagreeable, repulsive, well, you're going to believe whatever you want to believe. You're going to convince yourself that this person's a threat. You're going to convince yourself of whatever it is that you need to be convinced of to go down to
Exactly. You just want to get one up on somebody, period. I don't know how you guys act when you're scared, but when I'm scared, I shut down and I avoid what I'm scared of. If you see a tornado, you don't walk towards the fucking tornado. If there's an earthquake, you take shelter. Tornado, you take shelter. Something scary happening. You have all these tragedies that happen. I imagine people run away from the evil person that's doing it. You run away from that and you hide and you don't let them see where you are. What do they do in scary movies when they're running from the killer? They hide and they're quiet. You don't mouth off and fucking make yourself present and go after that person to instigate them to want to come after you back and forth. That is not scared to me. That's my opinion.
A courthouse and get a protection order against that person because you want to show them. Right. You want to use it more as a sword instead of a shield. Okay. Exactly. So that's the problem. A protection order is a shield. A protection order is not a sword. A protection order is not something to go get against somebody because you want to ruin them or because you don't like them. A protection order is something that you get because this person is in fact a threat to your physical well-being.
Right.
And so when you're defending these cases, the best way to show that the judge should not grant a protection order is to demonstrate why the respondent is actually not a threat to this person. And there is actually no merit to the petitioner's allegations against the respondent. There's no reason in objective reality for the petitioner to be afraid of the respondent. Okay. So that takes a lot of work. That's more than just like, we're going to go in there and say, you're not a threat, right? That's just basically like little kids, right? He punched me. No, I didn't. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. Right. So like, how do you establish the facts? How do you expose the language, expose the various aspects of a case factually to demonstrate for the judge that there's no merit in the.
And I'm going to pause there because again, I don't like the word community because I don't like the word ride or die friend. I don't like the word community because everybody thinks for themselves and you should never align your thoughts with somebody else just because. So if a judge just so happens to ask Lycan or Granny, like what, because I'm sure that the word community or my people or my followers or whatever is going to be brought up at some point in court. Well, what kind of community is this? Both of them would be lying if they didn't say that it was a drama community. What happens in drama? Well, it's like reality TV. It is for entertainment. When you're mad at somebody, just like myself, or if I want to speak on somebody, when I choose to bring it public, that is giving people content to talk about. That is giving people topics to talk about. That is drama. That is dramatic stuff. Drama involves back and forth bickering. So if Granny says, oh, I'm a true crime channel in court, that will actually be a lie. It is crama, true crime mixed with drama. So that's going to be a key element. Yours is cold compound. Hey, I'm almost done. I don't know if you heard me yell.
I can hear you. Do you want your dinner with the lady here tonight?
Yeah.
Do you care what we cook?
Oh, cooking here?
Yeah.
Whatever they want.
I don't know what. I just texted them.
Okay.
Come to
We're doing dinner tonight with Butthead and Selena. Hey, perfume addict, I love you. She's just drama and wannabe true crime. Well, think about it. You are in a drama community of people. They come here for that. That's their entertainment. You're providing them that entertainment by bringing any of your issues public. And mind you, the only way that we know that Granny even supposedly filed this is because she bragged about it on 2 different panels. If I was truly scared of somebody, I ain't saying shit. There's the order. They'll get served with it. Done. Not talking about them, not bragging about it. I don't want anything to do with them. Leave me alone. Done. They'll find out on their own. I don't need to tell people. They'll just shut up because now they're court ordered to. They'll leave me alone. End of story. Coming on and bragging about it is another slap in the face. Much like when my petitioner, because Siren was on the panel the day that I said she was going to get a knock on the door and it's going to be legal and I'm getting a restraining order. Siren was on my panel that day and he was like, well, have fun on Tuesday. When my petitioner got her restraining order filed on false pretenses towards me, she took the copy of it. She took a physical picture of it with her phone and she emailed it to Siren with a threatening message saying, if you continue running your mouth, you're next. That's what she said to Siren. That's bragging. That's using it, like Chris just said, as a sword, not a shield. You're using that to put fear into people, not because you're in fear of anything. Hey, Janessa. All right, so let me wrap this up. If anybody has anything to add to this before I go, be like 10, 15 minutes, you can give your thoughts. There's the
petitioner's allegations and that the respondent is not a danger in objective reality and that the petitioner is simply taking their personal dislike for the respondent and going into a court and using a protection order as
Robin, mine's probably about a good maybe 7 inches, real thick.
a sword instead of a shield, right? So all of that process and all of that planning and thinking through that is what I did on your behalf to make sure that your reputation, your criminal history wasn't ruined with this nasty black mark, right?
Yeah.
So,
and it was a blessing in disguise because it's like I said, it's kind of like it's just everybody seems to be doing this now. And I'm so glad that you're explaining it. And I really hope that they listen to the details of it and how much of a waste of time it truly is just because you're offended by somebody, or maybe you want to have that sort of control over somebody. It's like, okay, well, you didn't do what I want you to do. Well, now legally you're going to have to. Would you be able to clarify when somebody gets a protection order? A lot of times people think, okay, now they're just going to shut up. They're not going to say anything. Does that mean that you are able to silence somebody so they can't talk about you, or is it to you?
So that's
listen to this part, because during my order, I thought that I couldn't even talk about her publicly, but he's going to explain that, especially on YouTube, what happens. Are you still able to talk about this person and can't just address them specifically? Let's see what he has to say.
Great question. What a protection order means is that you cannot direct communications toward the protected party in the protection order. So and 2 other terms that are used. Sorry, my phone's ringing. Let me shut it off. So 2 other terms that are used is the protected party and the restrained party. So the protected party is the petitioner, the restrained party is the respondent. Mm-hmm. So for a person who's a restrained party in a protection order, you have to look at the order specifically. You got to look at the specifics of what the judge ordered in the protection order, and they vary, right? They vary. But I can tell you one thing: a judge in a protection order case is never going to order that a person cannot talk about the protected party, okay? Because that's a restraint on your First Amendment right to freedom of speech.
Did you guys hear that? Now, I've even heard with like Noodle Mash, I think she's even said, and Mrs. Portland, I'm not, if you're listening, I'm not saying to talk about her ever. You know, but she has said she's not to talk about me. I don't know if that's like written in or something in hers, but she said, you know, she can't even talk about me, which technically, I mean, if we're looking at the First Amendment, like the law, that would not be true. And, you know, what he's saying is you're not to address that person, reach out to them, direct any messages to them, or even via third party. And I think that's why on YouTube it's better, like if stuff like this happens, just to not even talk about that person, because a third party in your chat can come in directing messages towards that person and cause a little bit of trouble. So even like during my case, I had my petitioner's name blocked from my chat, their channel name blocked in the blocked words in studio, all of that, just so if somebody even came in, they could not address them or put their name in, just to be safe. So if you guys want to watch that, I put the link in the chat earlier. You can watch that full video. I'm going to let him finish what he's saying, and then I'm going to wrap it up.
There are things called gag orders. Gag orders you see in cases, usually bigger cases, criminal cases, civil cases at the state or federal level. But you're not going to see a gag order in a protection order case. You're just not going to see that. So the judge, if you're a restrained party in a protection order, you can say anything you want within the bounds of the law about the protected party. You just can't direct your communication. Like you can't call that person. You can't text that person. You can't show up where that person lives or works. That's what you're prohibited from doing. You're not prohibited from coming onto YouTube or Instagram or TikTok and talking generally about that person.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that, because what I'm seeing in a lot of these other scenarios is people just simply, they don't like what the other person is saying. They don't like their opinions. They want to have the upper hand and control. So, you know, that was even a big misconception with me when this happened to me, because I got the restraining order on me and then I was like, oh my God, I can't say anything. And it was really hard doing a legal fundraiser. Meanwhile, I'm not able to tell people. So there was a lot of trust on my viewers' end, and, you know, just putting trust into me. That I'm going to pause there, you know, because the people that still speak about my case, you know who they are. If you know, you know. They often say, you know, he wasn't being truthful or honest about his, you know, fundraiser, the case. Well, you have to understand, I was terrified. I didn't know what I could say, what I couldn't. So can you imagine, folks, listen, trying to have a fundraiser for this type of case, knowing in my head, I'm not supposed to talk about this person, but I need help. How am I going to explain this to people? So I was basically trying to say, guys, I need help. I'm getting an attorney. It's something legal. And I had to dance around it. Meanwhile, trying to get people's trust in me enough to give me their hard-earned money. And all of that just for this person to drop it for lack of evidence and then tell people, go get your refund. That was so much anxiety this person put me through, and still tries to this day. And that's why when I respond, I don't cuss them out anymore. I don't do any of that. I just, when I need to, I show the facts. Yeah, they go after Darling Nikki all the time. She didn't respond for like 4 years. They're still going after her. That I was telling the truth, and that's why I'm really happy you came on to explain all of this, because, you know, you were a figment of my imagination before today.
No, I'm very real. So
there's that. So again, you can just type in Chris Ponce save Robbie, and that interview, you can watch it in full. Granny, I just suggest everybody does their research on stuff like this, because it's really not something to play around with or to use as a sword, so to speak, or to intimidate someone, to silence them. Like he said, he was talking about gag orders and stuff like that, and that's way different. But I mean, back and forth is back and forth. And in closing, I'll just say that, I mean, when we see stuff like this, or when you experience it, it kind of puts in perspective what's important enough to respond to and what's not. That's why you don't see me coming on like I used to and just making a fool of myself, cussing people out that just poke and poke and poke. And to this day, they still poke. I just have a different way of either paying attention to it, and then if I do, thinking about what is the best way to respond, even when I'm angry. Sometimes, I mean, I still get it wrong. But it should put in perspective. Is it really worth going back and forth with people and getting it to this point when both can just fucking shut up? That's why everybody makes fun of me when I say, just let's make peace, or I choose to make peace, or people get mad at me because I choose peace. Well, guess what? You haven't been through what I've been through on here. You just saw a part of it. That's why, and peace even mattered to me before that happened. If you have a chance to be an adult, fucking do it. Don't let your pride get in the way. Don't let your anger get in the way. If somebody makes peace with somebody you don't like, let them have that gift of peace and stop being a fucking asshole. Amen, Lottie. You don't have to be friends with them, but would you rather just grow the fuck up and have peace with each other, or get to the point where both of you are getting triggered to the point of wanting to damage the other one's reputation or get one up on somebody just to silence them, which, I mean, ultimately is not worth it in the long run. Darling Nikki is somebody who's been harassing me for years. She has a wrench on my channel. Yet every night, I look out my window into the moonlight, the light of the nightfall of the moonlight shining on her blonde locks, just staring at me, staring at my home. My home. And I don't do anything about it. She's not allowed in Canada. She's not allowed in America. She sure as hell ain't welcome here. But I still have peace and coexist with her. Love you, Nikki. Hey, Foxy. Anyways, that's my opinion, my experience. I could go on forever. I have dry mouth from talking so much and my sinuses, so I apologize. There she is, lying with a lie. Accusing a lie with a lie. Everyone have an amazing Sunday. Have a good Sunday, Alicia. Guys, go check out my new breaking news parody. It's a dating segment with Street Maxer, Truthfully Trisha, and Sally Ann, which all of them I like and I think are great, and it's really funny and fun. So anyways, have a good one. Let's end with this. This is pretty fitting to end with. Okay, let's slow it down now. Slow it down. Slow it down. Okay, Nikki, I would like for you to fuck off. Love you. Let's end with my original song that I wrote for haters to back it the fuck up. Do you understand? I did not get a restraining order. Say, Robbie. He wrote a song and put it into creativity instead of going to a courthouse. See how that works? Have a good day, everyone. Back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. Back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. Back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. Back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. Back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. Back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. Back off. So back off, bitch. Why you always undress me? Why you trying to stress me? You just want to be rude, bitch. You just want to tell tale snitch. Always up in my face, like you're thirsty for mace. Bury your body so, without leaving a trace. So fuck around and find out, bitch. Fuck around and find out. You ain't even my boss. You just need to back off. Why you trying to be bossy? You just need to back off me. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. Bitch, you need to back off. You just all so thirsty. Mission is trying to break me. You ain't even a thought, bitch. Anger is what you brought, snitch. Playing the victim, so you need compassion, bro. Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out. Fuck around and find out, bitch. Fuck around and find out. Why you always so mess me? Why you always undress me? Why you always so bitchy? Why you always so filthy? You need to back off, bitch. You need to back off. You need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. You need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. You need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. You need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. You need to back off. Back off. You need to back off, bitch. You need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. You need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. You need to back off, bitch. You need to back off. Back off. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. Back off, bitch. Back off, bitch. You need to back off, bitch. You need to back off. Back off, bitch. Back off, bitch. You need to back off, bitch. Damn, you need to back off. Huh? No, no chance. No, no, damn.